We don't need to focus on Muhammad. Well, as a cat, no. Sharmutas that got, bombed, their homes got bombed in Gaza. We'll give them some employment. But bro, imagine, like, we can have, like, toll roads going to Mecca and, like, maybe even just, like, take over Mecca. Just because it's not a real religion anyways. But then we build, like, hotels. We have, like, dude, imagine, like, in front of every mosque, you had, like, these fucking automated feet washing machines so they don't go in there stinky footed when they pray. Bro, like, there's so much fucking money to be made.
You'll start a World War III with the Muslims.
Yeah, but you know what it is? Like, you saying this is reaching to saying, like, so you free them, but then you don't occupy them, okay? But you don't give them their homeland, So they have, like, for.
But it's our homeland. It's
100 years.
Jesus of Nazareth, okay, who lived in Jerusalem. It's our fucking land, okay. Now I don't care what the Jews, you fuck them, and then with the Muslims, like, saying like, oh, but it's Muslim land. I truly don't give two fucks. I only care about, being a good Christian.
But that's you know what it is, like, saying that it's like contradictive a bit, because you were just saying, like, you respect the Muslims and stuff, like you respect them, like, living their life, right? But
yeah, they can go to, like, Saudi Arabia or Algeria, bro. Like, they're fine.
Yeah, but they live there for, like, how long, bro? They lived there, like, since.
Oh yeah, you're correct. Like, the Palestinian Christians that have lived there, dude, they're gonna live large and in charge. I want to keep them there. But the Muslims, like, they're gonna live. They can live there once we take over. But it's probably better they go elsewhere. The Jews, they're a little whiny. Like, maybe they should probably go elsewhere too. Just being fair.
Then the same mistake is then okay, people are not getting killed. Okay, I get it. People are not getting killed. People are being fed. They get work. They get, okay. Also, let's say you take it over and we live together, but then it's still wrong. Like,
not really.
Let's say I go to what's a Christian Christian country, like Eastern European country, Christian.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's horrible. You guys shouldn't.
Like Slovenia or stuff.
Yeah.
Slovenia or something, or Serbia.
You guys are a bioweapon. Like, we don't want you guys imported into European countries.
I can't believe you say it.
No, but I'm just giving the scenario. Let's say they are okay. Let's say Ukraine. I don't know if Ukraine is Christian. If it's a Christian country.
Christian, yeah.
No, Christian. Okay. So they're at war, right? And let's say Saudi Arabia helps Ukraine to end the war with Russia, right? And let's say the Saudi Arabia say, oh, we help them end the war and get the Russians out of their country. No, instead of, like, only helping them and leaving them be, or, like, getting good ties, like, because you help them, like, we can be business partners and stuff, or something like that. No, instead of that, we just take the country and we make it an Islamic country.
I think you misunderstand. Like, I want to do the work of Jesus. I want to take over Israel, okay? The IDF will no longer exist. All of their weapons get taken away. All of the Palestinians' weapons get taken away. And they will be treated, equally. But but there's good. We're gonna try to teach both of you guys, naughty boys and girls who aren't Christian.
You mean like the Native Americans?
Well, somewhat similar. These were pagans.
Like Geronimo and all that stuff.
Yeah, savages. I guess you could say. I guess if you want me to be clear, I think you have the naughty Jews, which are whiny savages, and you have the Muslims that, in my opinion, are just like inbred angry savages. And we need to stop the cycle of violence. It just has to stop.
Okay, but there are 1 billion people who are Muslims. Like,
well, there's a million bad muzzies that need to learn how to behave. Very naughty. They need to go to confession in a Catholic church. How does that sound? They'll be cleansed of their sins.
Which Muslims?
They'll be cleansed of their sins, and they will have a relationship with Jesus Christ. He will cleanse them of their sins.
Okay, I thought you were an atheist, people.
But which Muslims are you talking about? Like, which bad Muslims?
All Muslims
Because-
are bad because they're not Christian, and not only because they're not Christian, but they're not Catholic. You guys all need to become Catholic.
Okay, let me ask you one thing. So someone who doesn't believe, right? Someone who doesn't believe, but he does charity. He has like he has like an own company, like the charity, you know, or like multiple. He in his work is to help people. He goes to countries who are at war. He cooks for them. He cleans for them. He does all this good stuff. He's like a good person, you know. Do you still think but he doesn't believe in God? He's just like, you know, he doesn't believe, but he does a lot of good things. He's a good
Without
man,
accepting
you know?
without accepting Jesus as your Lord, you were destined to
That means you just
burn
But
in
that is the
an
afterlife.
eternal.
But listen, this is the afterlife we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Like in the afterlife, he's not gonna succeed, right? Okay, that's the.
But I'm trying to save you, my Muslim brother, to not have to suffer in the afterlife. I'm trying to get you on the right path, the righteous path of the
But you know, God
our Lord
has-
Jesus.
Yeah. Okay, I understand, and I appreciate that. But the thing is, I don't know, but do you guys believe in like destiny, like that everything happens for a reason?
Somewhat.
Okay.
I do.
But okay, cool. Like some people are not like their destiny is not to believe in Jesus or not believe in Allah. You know, we say God, we say Allah. They're not gonna. Their destiny is not to believe in faith. You know, that's just their destiny. No matter how many times you say it, 100, 1,000, 10,000, doesn't matter the number. How many times you tell them you enslave them, you do bad things to them, they won't believe, you know. But that is just their destiny. You have to, like, as a Muslim, you just have to accept that that is who they are, and that's how they're gonna end up, and that's how they're gonna die, you know. And
But
that's
your
what I
religion
think is-
doesn't. Your religion doesn't accept that. I mean, your religion believes that you have to, revert to Islam, and that is like basically your way to salvation.
but I don't wrong people because they don't convert. Like, of course, I want.
Well, no, but I'm not saying you don't wrong them, but the price in the afterlife is that they're also going to be banished to hell or something like that.
Yes, of course. But I don't.
So you want to
diminish-
save them.
Yes, of course I
So
want to.
I have the same desire to save people. I want to say a prayer. Okay,
Yeah, but-
Lord Jesus, I pray
Yeah.
that these small hat Jews and these towel heads come to see Jesus, the light of the Lord. That you don't have Muslims walking around stinky-footed in mosques. You don't have Israel dropping bombs on paraplegic kids and then dancing in TikTok videos afterwards. That we don't get any more Islamic terrorist attacks. That all of these people will see the light of the Lord Jesus, and we'll all be saved. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and do another crusade. I just want to let you know, my Muslim brother, you need to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Otherwise, it's going to be ugly times ahead.
that's
Okay.
a good point. What about the Hindus and the Chinese? You know, they don't believe in that.
No, they have to convert too. Fuck them.
Okay, can I just say one thing? You say stinky-footed Muslims, bro. We at least wash our feet like five times a day, at least. Like, but that's just.
But you guys don't even wash your buttholes. Like, that is weird.
We do. Like, that's literally before we pray. We have to. Like, but what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Damn, I forgot. But
What I don't get
we
is why
Muslims,
didn't we take Mecca in any of the previous crusades? Like, we can have the best troll.
bro, like
I just
like,
want to make so
I'm
much
gonna
money,
be
bro.
completely-
The
No,
Jews think
I'm
they're
gonna be
about money.
completely
I want to
honest.
outdo them so bad. I want to outdo them so bad.
Nah, like this conversation was good, you know, like you have your standpoint, I have my standpoint. Just to be 100 with you, you know, like Mecca, you're never gonna take Mecca, like that's not gonna happen.
We'll eventually get
This-
No, we have more bombs in Mecca.
Yeah.
Or Saudi Arabia. Excuse me.
Roseanne.
But you can't take
What-
over
what
Mecca.
did you say?
It's disrespectful.
Bombs in Mecca?
No, we have more bombs than Saudi Arabia. Like, we can definitely take Mecca.
We would never bomb Mecca. That would cause.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Like, okay, I got the wrong thought. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go. I wish you guys
Good.
all the guidance,
Yeah,
you know,
Good talking to you, bro.
that we all need.
Talking to you.
But we share the same enemy, the evil, dirty Jew, and I just want to let you know that same time you guys need to come to church. You guys are very filthy people yourselves. It'll work out. You'll go to heaven. Just trust me, bro.
Bro, we're not filthy. As I told you, we wash our feet and our buttholes at
He's
least
just
5 times
fucking
a
with you.
day.
He's just fucking with you.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's been good talking to you guys. I wish you all the guidance from God, you know.
Well, yeah, good talking to you too.
Thank you, man. Have
Yeah.
a good one.
Just getting back on the title here a little bit. I think Bazooka, are you Muslim by any chance? Was there another Muslim on the stage?
I'm just here listening to a wonderful talk, you know, annihilating all the fucking.
Yeah, for sure. Just a question. What do you guys think of the deportations that are happening in America as Muslims, either as overseas or whatever you guys are at right now? What are your thoughts about what America's doing? Any Muslims here?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, can you repeat your question?
Yeah. So what do you make of our deportations of illegal immigrants here?
I guess those who has done crimes, those who does not align with the interest of America, they should be deported.
All right. I think we're all on the same page on that.
Yeah, anybody who has, breached the law, any law, who has done any crime, who has done murder, who has, who are not good for the communities, regardless of religion, regardless of caste, they should be deported because, in fact, I believe that when you migrate to another country, in fact, you should, live up to their culture, hold their values rather than...
Assimilate, right? Assimilate is what we call that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, folks, a lot of folks, they come to US and they don't speak their language, they, speak their own language, bring their own culture. I respect all the cultures, but at the end of the day, if they have given you opportunity to live there, earn there, and so we should mingle ourselves rather than becoming a threat to the community, to the existing community.
What about the Hindus that come here? I think you Muslims are way better than the Hindus, but that come here and take smelly.
What?
They take smelly, goody shits on the streets.
Wait, why are you making fun of
it's so
Hindus?
gross.
They don't cause problems.
Jacob, you like that? Interesting. Okay.
Wait, they open up businesses and what?
Well, the Muslims don't
jobs?
poop in
Why do you
public.
care?
The Muslims won't poop in public. But the Hindus, they will, and with all the spices they eat, they take
No,
these
they're
smelly,
very nice people.
smelling shits.
I've never seen them in my life. Where have you seen them?
But yeah, I agree, this is what I talk, we should hold the culture and live up to the culture of the place where we live. They brought a lot of spices and they given a lot of spices to the world. But yes, I have seen a lot of Indians, so they even don't learn the language, the people who are old, like they came many years ago. So they even do not learn the language, and I don't know. They when you eat a lot of curry, you fart. you know.
Fart? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be pooping in the street probably on accident.
Do you think like, I was thinking like, okay, so, I think a requirement that you should be able to write and read English. I think that's pretty common. I think you should be able to do in a country that you want to be part of for like many years like coming up. And like maybe like if we could do like a test to people like later on, like they've been here 6 months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years. We kind of just run a test by them to see if they're actually able to speak English and
Well, British tried that for like 200 years.
they have to go. They
can't speak English, 200 years the British have, tried.
I actually dated an immigrant who converted, and it's just the 8th grade level of civics. They just have to know how democracy works. And you apply for it, and blah, blah, blah. And she was very proud to be an American. I mean, this country is built of immigrants. Just not illegals.
No, nobody can ignore the contribution that immigrants had been made. I mean, immigrants, they contributed a lot. Even in fact today, they contribute massively. But at the same time, I travel to other countries as well. But one thing which I have experienced, the people in America in general, they are more welcoming, particularly, no offense to everyone, but particularly white people and the other people, they are welcome generally. If you go to somewhere else in another country, for example, in the Europe country where you might encounter the language barriers, so you will find that people are not as much welcoming as you will find here in the US.
Exactly, Hassan. Now, Jacob, I see you kind of with the bat, making sure that maybe my idea, doesn't probably get implemented in a way, but like, I'm just saying, like, 5 years in, you're here in the country.
What's your idea again?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, like, maybe like, you're going in this country for, if I'm trying to find some like, humanity and all this, like, okay, you're in the country for about a year or two, maybe 3 years, and like you've had a chance to like kind of like assimilate, like at least have an opportunity to do that, and maybe like learn the language, maybe learn how to write the language, just a little bit. Like I'm not saying like maybe just a little bit,
Well, it depends how you entered the country. If you entered illegally, then we're talking about a felony right off the bat.
Oh, okay, you're on board.
Then you're operating at a deficit, no matter what you do.
Got it. So
you have a gun,
Yeah, let me just
you can't do that.
Let me just finish my thinking. Yeah, okay, so you're somewhat there. I'm saying like, okay, so we have Juan, he's out there on the farming.
Juan knew what he was doing.
Yeah, exactly. And then we show up and like we're like, okay, Juan, you got to take a test, for English and writing right now, like kind of like on the spot. And like maybe if he passes it, we can work something out. But maybe if he doesn't, then we just gotta like figure this stuff out and kind of move him along. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to think of like another workaround on this. Like,
How
maybe
about this? If Juan's never committed any criminal record while he was here, let him go. If he's committed a felony, deport him.
Okay, this is interesting. I had a similar view on that. Hassan, what do you have to say on this?
Yeah, I mean, one thing which I can see more visible is that I grew up in a third world country. I grew up in Afghanistan, lived in Pakistan, and all the way. So one thing which is a very gray area when it comes to deport all the people who entered the illegal. So, there are so many people who entered the illegal here in the US, but a lot of industries depends on them, and if they have not done any crime, so if you live in a third world country, so there is so much true that there is so much violence, you cannot express your opinion. For example, if you are in the Pakistan and you are Christian, or you are in the minority, so it's so much difficult to live there honestly speaking, if you connect with any person who's from Pakistan and is in minority, so those people who fled their land just because they were not being treated equally, and then came to US or to the other European countries. So if they have not done any crime, and just sending them back is also because they cannot live there because of their religion and
elected representatives to represent.
Okay, shut up. Not you. I meant the other guy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
John's up here. That's my bad. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Asan.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So for example, you can just Google it. Blasphemy cases in Pakistan. So a lot of Christian being killed on no basis, and the people who are ruling, and for those people who fled their lands, you see the situation of war in Afghanistan. So sending these people back to their countries is also not good idea. Just because they enter illegal, I guess this is some this is a gray area which is very difficult to agree or disagree on.
We just want to know who's coming to our country. That's all.
And that's kind of like the thing, though. I'm with you on that, Jacob. But there's like a whole group that's already here. So I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to rationalize.
We'll just deal with it. We'll give them, if they did good, then we'll treat them, good. If they did bad, then we get rid of them. Give them.
Yeah, so you agree? Like if we do like a little maybe a little
clean the house a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, just be like, hey man, you've been here 5 years. You don't even know how to put a sentence together.
Or it's like you've raped 2 women. Like, can't do that. Or that kind of thing. And it's like, nah, man, I'm gonna have to send you back.
I would just.
Or like anybody with a facial tattoo. We'll start with that one. As a prerequisite. Like, no, I don't think that's gonna work. The MS-13 thing. Just all over your face. I don't know how you can have a future in Wall Street with that one.
I mean, first
go back to El Salvador.
Yeah.
Or Guatemala.
Okay, yeah. Personally, I would just put a bullet in their head.
Well, see, you don't have to take it that far.
Oh my God! Fascist!
I think I can. I mean, just dump them into a ditch and just bury them right there. I mean, I don't rapists. I mean, come on, get real. Who cares about them?
Yeah, I mean, we give so much leeway to...
All right, just put them in prison. They'll get raped anyway.
Well, no, but Jacob, the thing is, though, is that if you were to look at, like, Guatemala, what they do to their own people, if you were to get caught raping a girl, they will literally, you'll get lynched by a mob of people. If a foreigner was to, in any of these countries, was to... could factually prove that he did something horrible like this. They're not going to use the. First of all, the diversity is not a thing in these countries. They really don't give a fuck. In fact, they're going to find it more offensive that you're a foreigner, an outsider who thought you could come into their country and do that to one of their people. I mean, why? There's no reason to grant these people any kind of I don't know, to take it easy on them. I mean, it's...
No, I agree. Those games are, it's over with now. We can't just have people coming across the border like it's a playground.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly, Jacob. Little boy, I don't know. You want to speak on this at all, or I'm kind of tired of people squatting on my stage, but I don't know if you have any thoughts on this. Do you?
I love decorations, man. That's what that's all.
Very good man right there, guys.
What did he say?
He said he loves deportations. I think he said that. I think that's.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
And I guess so far they are. They are only catching people who has done any sort of crime. I'm not following too much news. I guess.
So if they come here illegally, which is a crime, they get sent back. So yeah, It's a crime if I walk, you know this, if I walk into India, they would be like, no.
Well,
and send me back.
India, not really.
Whatever, you know what I mean.
You'd have to be like really getting on India's nerves for them.
Well, I'm just saying, if I overstayed my visa in China, what do you think would happen? Did it make me a citizen like here?
Well, India, yeah, well, I'm just saying India's a little different than China.
You have borders there, you don't.
Well, I mean, but India is still largely a third world country in many areas. So, I mean,
I'm not talking about
they have other like pressing issues. Like we have to worry about not allowing third worlders to come into our country. In India, they already have a bunch of third worlders, so it's not really their priority.
Exactly. Q.
Yeah, so
Go ahead, Hassan. You want to say something? Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, I just there are so many things when it comes to Trump policies which I really align with. For example, he wants to empower the local people. I mean, those who were born here in the U.S. And in fact, he also announced that if a family is having 2 babies, he will give some sort of bonus, I guess.
A tax
Because
credit, yeah.
what I'm seeing is that in the western part of the world, so people are not having kids. I mean, honestly, 1, 2 kids. But if you go to the eastern part of the world, in India, I mean, India is also Indian's growth rate is 1 point something. But if you see the Pakistan, Afghanistan growth rate is 3.4.
That's because they're Muslims, and they don't, they don't really breed like rabbits. No offense.
But Hindus like breed a lot too.
Not really. I mean, not at this point.
In India, they do.
I think
India, I don't think you understand. Like India, first of all, they have a fucking caste system, which a lot of people say like, oh, it's white supremacy. No, it's like it's thousands of years old. It predates colonization. These people, when it comes to India, it's a whole. When Westerners try to like deconstruct India, so like sociologically, they don't. You can't do it from an American lens. It's entirely different.
it's actually impossible. I tried to. I can't.
So one thing, in general, one thing you guys are, I mean, for example, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, Saudi, they are also Muslim countries, but they don't have too much people. They don't have too much kids. It's it comes from the cultural perspective as well. But you'll find so many people, even in countries like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, or in those words, Indonesia, Malaysia, a lot of people, but not in typical Muslim countries like Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, or Saudi Arabia. So, there are so many other factors.
Is it because they're more developed and they have more money?
Not necessarily. No, they're more ethnically homogenous, but yeah, they have a lot more money. But I would say that the model that like Qatar, Kuwait, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Oman, what they have is that they don't allow. There's no such thing as like birthright citizenship. Fuck, you can live and work there. The chance of getting citizenship in those countries is very small. Now they are generous in terms of like, well, I wouldn't say generous. If you're somebody who can move to their country and you can, economically, they think that you're beneficial. They'll give you residency where you can own your home. You can live and die there, but you're not going to be given citizenship where you can vote or dictate the outcome, of the country. And
You make a good point. I agree with you.
So I do think that like the Gulf Arab states do have a much better model when it comes to citizenship. Like we have all of these people coming from all over the fucking world to to work here, but I don't think we need to, like, there's no reason we should have not only birthright citizenship, but to even have any promise of citizenship to any other group of people.
So, what it takes to the broader conversation when it comes.
Okay, yeah.
Well, hold on, let Asan finish.
Sorry.
It takes the little conversation broader because I agree. In fact, the situation is more worse because a lot of labor people from Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, and Afghanistan go there to work, and they are treated much worse because I know a lot of folks who are working there. And they are being treated much worse compared to the Western countries. But at the same time, they are not the epitome of democracy. They don't hold they don't claim the democracy or the human rights. So when it comes to the Western world, so these are the things which is being invented there, like the democracy, human right things. So people being exploited this thing. Like for example, if any Western country start doing what they are doing in the eastern side, so you will find everyone in the press will raise question. This is not the democratic values. We are not living in the democracy. So even in the Saudi Arabia, if someone is raising the question against the government, so next day that person will be disappear, or even same in the Qatar, Kuwait, because they are not the democratic country.
You mean like disappear, like killed?
I mean, in Saudi Arabia, in Arab countries, or in the Qatar or Kuwait, if someone is, there's no opponent party. Like for example, here in the U.S. we have Republican, then we have Democrats. Someone in the opposition to say against the policies being put by any party. But in those countries, there's no opposition. So there's no rule of law which is being aligned by the democracy.
So that's one of the downside, and this is both on the left and the right. This has been a conversation, not a conversation. It's literally how they've operated. If you look at the far left versus the far right, they will once one group gets in power, and if they're capable of doing it, they will completely shut off opposition. Now, the Middle East is a whole different animal. They still, in a way, it's kind of like they still have kingdoms, which isn't necessarily bad if you so happen to have a ruler that is adept and has the best interest of the country and the people in mind that live in the country. But it's a very, how you could kind of like implement something like what in the Middle East like you do in the West. I don't think it's, that model is necessarily something we could do here just because we're culturally so much different. But I do think that there's like how they hand out citizenship, it is so much different, and I think that's a good thing. The only thing when it comes, we get the one thing about America is that the people that are the largest innovators, I guess you can say, like the ones that are the most successful, they come here from foreign countries and they get citizenship. That is in a way how we take away competition from the rest of the world. We are like the best country you can come to and have a successful startup. Which, there's no, like, Gulf Arab states would never offer that, really. And so, in a way, it kind of helps us, but then when it comes to the majority of the people that we don't really want here, or to be voting here, they're not, they're not the 1 in a million, or several million successful, CEOs that had a successful startup here.
So you're against immigration?
Largely, I don't think they should be given citizenship. Like, like how they get it today. Like absolutely fucking not.
Well, no, today it's ridiculous.
Look, before 1965, we had the bracero programs, which Mexicans, there's a bunch of laws and protections for them. They had to get paid a certain wage. When they came here, they had to set aside a certain amount of money in an account in Mexico, which would be their
Your
remittances.
family's Mexican, right?
No. But when it comes, I've trolled as a Mexican because the black people on here insisted that I'm not white and I'm a Mexican, so I just troll with them. But with that being said, with the bracero program, which ended in 1964, you would have Mexicans that would come here. They'd have labor protections. They couldn't be mistreated. They would have wages. They have to be paid, and they would also have to show that there's a certain amount of money that's being set aside at an account in Mexico that can only be accessed in Mexico. And in 1965, a year after it lapsed, we were 2% Hispanic as a country.
Yeah, now it's like 40%.
No, it's like 20.
Well, yeah, 20 here.
So what happened is 1964, bracero program lapsed. 1965, the Hart-Celler, or the 1965 Immigration Act, same thing, where we got rid of our nation of origins quotas, and we allowed people from all over the world to come here. And that's where you saw the quote-unquote browning of America, and that's when you saw like a shit ton of anchor babies and all kinds of stuff. And
Isn't the browning though? Oh, man, we had people from
it
Asia.
was.
Maybe Filipinos?
No.
That's in their system.
No, because before 1965, you largely had to be from Europe, but specifically, they allocated numbers from Southern and Eastern Europe, but primarily it
Like
favored
Italians.
Northwestern Europe. Well, no, they didn't favor Italians.
Well, I know. I was always accused of being one my whole life, and the people would spit on me, other white kids, and they're Irish with blue eyes, and they would pick on me. So I hang out with the Mexicans and the Sicilian kids.
Amazing. But so, with that being said, that changed in 1965. At the time, Lyndon B. Johnson, he was the president at the time. It's not going to affect the demographic makeup of America, which it absolutely did. And it was very unpopular at the time when it was passed. But once again, we were like a country that was somewhat, we still demographically had problems. Whites and blacks still have a thing ongoing.
Not all of them.
Somewhat. Yeah. Speaking of Brandy, how are you doing this evening?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing really well, thank you for asking.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, no kidding. Do you have any thoughts on the title, or like, are you pro deportation or pro fortation? What's your thoughts right now?
For real, my thoughts about deportations is that I kind of understand why it's going on, because we can't go to nobody else's country and do what they're doing in our country. But in some kind of sense, it ain't what you do, it's how you doing it. That's what I feel.
So we'll be doing it wrong?
Trump is doing it right. He's doing it right. Let me tell you something, man. You can't
That's just my opinion of it.
You can't go to Dubai and have a baby. That's smuggling. That is smuggling.
Absolutely.
If you have a child, if you are pregnant and you go to Kuwait, Dubai, Jerusalem, Pakistan, Iran, Qatar, Turkey, you go to Turkey, you're not delivering a Turkish baby. The people go deliver that child, you're going home. I mean,
right.
You can't do that. Diddy was just in trial for sex trafficking. You can't take your pussy across the border in the United States and not be reprimanded for it.
All right.
So what do you think?
Back off with that shit.
But then
Well, it's the truth. So what
when
are
you
you saying? What I'm simply posing is you cannot. I think that it's the right thing to do because people can't come. We can't go to other countries and do it.
Sure.
They have codes and structures that's been in place for years. This is normal to them. We're arguing about it to them. They're like, oh man, I don't see what the problem is. So I'm willing to bet a lot of those nations are looking at it like, I don't see the problem. But the problem only exists at home with us.
You're right, but listen, when you
want to finish? Yeah, we didn't
Yes.
want to go ahead.
When you create a rule in this country or an amendment, like the 14th Amendment was for anybody that come here, you know, and have babies or whatever, they are allowed. You know, that was for the slaves, but he didn't put like only slaves. Everybody used that to get here.
I agree with that too. That's a good point. Nobody ever brings up.
So that rule was put down for so long, and so many people, like you said, smuggled or, you know, used that rule to apply to everybody. So they've been in this country since that amendment. So therefore, you know, you got a mess to clean up, but it's still like a law.
So you had mentioned, Brandy, that you don't agree kind of like how it's being done. Did I hear that right?
I agree with, I don't agree how it's being done.
You agree on the principle, you just don't agree on how it's done.
Exactly.
Now, so this is the question. I can see where, you know, you're coming from in that sense, because, like, you know, obviously the optics can look kind of funky if you're, you know, going to a farm field and just basically capturing all, like, Mon and all these people up, you know. But to be honest, though, like, I don't think there's any really good way to do it. Can you think of a better way? I mean, where do you go to actually get these folks? You know what I mean?
You're right. It is a bunch. Hey, it's a bunch.
You gotta blame the people that created the problem in the first place.
This is between Randy and I. Hold on. Go ahead, Randy.
You're right. It's just, I don't see how you would clean it up either, because it's a lot of it going on. I mean, it's been going on for centuries, you know?
Exactly. Okay.
But I feel like, I mean, I don't know how he would clean it up, but, like, it's still a law, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I'm clueless, I guess, with it.
It's a little harder when you start thinking about it, right, Randy?
It is.
Yeah.
But it is.
At least agree on the principles. That's a starting point. I appreciate that, you know. Jacob, you go ahead if you want to say something.
No, I'm done at this point. I get nothing left to take. If you want a real discussion, we can have one.
What's the discussion that you're thinking isn't happening right now? What part of it?
Ignorance.
On my part or on what?
No. There's people.
Okay. Joe, you want to jump in?
Yeah, look, I have breaking news. Today, a federal judge ruled that liberal organizations have the right to bring lawsuits on behalf of future persons who are born on or after February 20th, 2025. In the ruling, though, that are going to be born after February 20th, 2025. This is the precursor now for a federal ruling where pro-life organizations will be able to bring class actions on behalf of future persons.
That's exactly what I was thinking when you said that, Joe.
Yeah, so there's now a federal ruling that's out there.
Look at the
you want me to get it for you,
dichotomy on that one. That's fabulous.
Joe, I want to see that. If you can post the link, I want to see that. Yeah.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe. This is perfect though, because again, when this gets all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court, the Dems are going to lose this case, and if there's any other subsequent cases that have nothing to do with this, Trump's going to win it. So I mean, I predicted this. I predicted after the Trump v. CASA that they were going to file some dumb lawsuit And I actually said this on C-SPAN, on air. I said, go ahead, you take your lawyers, go ahead, file another lawsuit so it can get overturned again. And as predicted, they found a judge in a federal court, shopping for a judge to make a ruling, and it's going to happen again.
Do you have the language, Joe?
Yeah, I do. I got a Twitter link for you, Abby, and it's got the ruling in it. Christian, I remember having this conversation right here on this app, not a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and I thought of you. I was like, there it is. There it is. It's happened. Maybe it was about 2 to 3 weeks ago. Let me get the link for Abby real quick.
Christian, are you in the House or the Senate? I forget.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
In Arizona. I live here. That's what I'm asking.
Do you plan on running again, Christian, or no?
No, I don't. The only way I would ever run again is if I got Trump's endorsement. That's the only way I would ever run again.
There it is for you, Abby. It pinned at the top. It's going to be Barbara versus Donald J. Trump. I haven't read the whole ruling. Maybe you could read it for us, Abby, and give us a. Yeah, I heard it on Tim Pool. I was watching Tim Pool earlier, and they were talking about it. I was like, oh well, look at that. Christian was right.
Matt, give me honest feedback. It's like it's not my room, but like I was trolling that guy for like quite a while. Was that a little excessive?
No, you're okay. It was fine because you're gonna do what you do a little bit. That's fine. And maybe you went over by 10, 15 minutes. But no, you're good. And you didn't go down too much on the Jewish route. You hit up the Muslims pretty good too. So
no, I do that because it's like you gotta like say like because he wanted to say like watch Candace Owens.
Oh yeah, he came out of nowhere. That is true.
Yeah, and so it's just like no, I agree. But then I do like the Crusader bit, and it's just like and then I insult Islam a lot. And, how much take power over them, and he's still it's like still as long as I'm anti-Israel, I can be as like anti-Islamic as I want.
The thing is, there is a crossover with deportation and exactly what you're talking about, and we did hit upon that a little bit. So you're not completely off, but yeah.
I came in the room just as you were trashing Jews, so I'm like, what the fuck did I just walk into?
Abby
so
just walked in.
I had to leave. I don't want to hear it. I know what you're doing.
I did the same thing, Abby.
But I just could. So to answer you.
By the way, you guys do the right thing. You guys leave the room. I really appreciate that instead of causing a big stink. So I appreciate both Sarah and Abby and anybody down below in the goo or on stage. If you don't like stuff, you don't like hearing, just leave. There we go.
What I don't get is like how does anybody listen to Candace Owens and like think they're being more enlightened? This shit's crazy.
She's batshit crazy.
And Joe, I can predict that the Republicans in the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate will do absolutely nothing and allow this judge in this federal court to do exactly what the U.S. Supreme Court said that the judges didn't have the right to do, and it's really unfortunate that we have such an incompetent U.S. House and U.S. Senate, but this is the consequence of us not controlling all of the GOP committees because we're voting in elections, but the votes that we have in the elections are not putting the fear in all of these Republicans that are, I mean, they're basically just squatting in office at this point because, I mean, you know, it's not as if they are actually, they haven't codified all of Trump's executive orders. They haven't done anything that has been super overarching. They passed a budget reconciliation bill. They added a few things in the bill that Trump wanted, but the vast majority of a lot of the things that Trump wanted in that bill that they did not include. And so here we are again, waiting on a judge to, we're waiting on the Circuit Appeals, and then we're waiting on the U.S. Supreme Court to make a ruling on this.
Hey guys, I wanted to chat about the judge ruling or whatever. I think that's a good thing. You guys gonna disagree with me because I'm in a Trump supporting group. You guys gonna disagree with me. I'm just letting y'all know right now. That's a good thing. Birthright citizenship is good for us because we're United States. You know, we unite all cultures and everybody.
But Matt, you remember her? She's the submission girl.
I know, I got you. But she's agreeing right now. This is interesting. Go ahead.
One thing, you know, which you people, you know, who are the people who come here and get advantage of birthright citizenship? You know, most of these people are rich people from third world countries. You know, it's very, very near to impossible for poor people to come to US. It's too much expensive, you know.
I think you're talking about yourself.
No, he's correct. He's correct. Especially when it comes to people, when it comes to a lot of the people, like with the exception of there's spots in Africa and parts of Asia and most of Latin America where you do get the poor people that will come here that don't have a lot of money. But I agree with what you're saying when it comes to the people that will be able to come here and get citizenship relatively easily. They are the wealthier people from third world countries, absolutely.
And they are the people who even take advantage of poor people back in their countries. So you understand this? They are the same rich people. I mostly talk about the eastern side. I don't know about the Latin America, but I'm talking about the eastern side. So it's near to impossible to come to US from the eastern side of the world.
I agree.
They are the rich people who come there, get advantage, and then you know they go back to their country and also take advantage of poor country for poor people. You know, if you talk about Afghanistan, Pakistan, so the poor people earn less than $1 in a day, less than $1. How come that poor person will come to US? So only rich there's a layer of people, you know, certain layer of people who comes here, take advantage from the western side and also take advantage from the eastern side. And you know, at the end of the day, the poor people, they are being ripped off.
That's interesting. It's like the height of like wokeism in, I believe it was either 2020, it was either a year or so. It might have been a year or so after, but you had with the whole DEI bullshit, they were going to have one of the things they were going to cover, because in California, they do, I guess, fund, when it comes to castes, especially in, like with Indian people. And so with Google, they were going to have trainings regarding the caste system. And so, you know, you have like a Brahmin class, and I forget which is just below it. There are a lot of Brahmins, but then there's another caste, which there's quite a bit of them in the tech industry. But it was like when it comes to the Dalit, basically the Google workers were up in arms and they said like, no, fuck this shit. Like we're not tolerating this. They wanted to continue their form of extreme, I guess you could say like bigotry, and didn't want the attention focused on them.
And see, this is why I am vehemently against to either modernize or expand legal immigration. We need a total reversal because it's gotten to this point where it is just an all-out free-for-all, and people just don't get it because they're not in the private sector. They don't understand any of this. Most of it is coming into the information technology job sector. So people just have no clue, no idea the damage that this does, and because we're cheering it on because people are saying, oh well, we need more legal people here. No, we don't. Okay, this case, especially this birthright citizenship case, proved it because the Dems and Trump's detractors were in court, basically saying that if they couldn't continue birthright citizenship, then they could not reap the benefits, which are the federal benefits from birthright citizenship. That a ton of entitlements would be lost because they would not be able to claim federal benefits as a result of this birthright citizenship. And then you have then you have folks that will just come over to the United States and have their children for the benefit of everything that we've already been talking about the last few minutes. So I've seen enough, I've heard enough. It's time to do a total reversal on all of this. And the sad part is we don't have a competent United States Congress, a U.S. House, and U.S. Senate, which is what will be required to reverse a lot of this.
Hey, Joe and Matt.
What's up, Adrian? What's going on?
Hey, D, what's up, buddy?
What's going on? I knew I was fucking right on this issue. Remember when I raised this issue about a week ago, 2 weeks ago in this room?
Yep.
And that guy tried to argue me up and fucking down that I was wrong. Right? Do y'all remember that conversation?
It's all coming.
Yeah.
Right, Joe?
Christian made a similar argument too, Adrian. I remember this.
I told you. People looked at me like I had 4 fucking heads when I raised the issue, right? How this is going to be problematic for the Dems. And because people had never thought about it from that angle before, they thought I was fucking crazy. I feel so fucking vindicated right now. I feel vindicated. Because I told them this is exactly what was going to happen if they tried to argue this birthright citizenship on behalf of future people. Then guess what? It was going to fuck up the abortion argument. I said this shit.
The reason why it's also largely bullshit, it's like, okay, so you had people that were former slaves and the descendants of slaves, and okay, the 14th Amendment was meant to deal with that, but it's now we can just have like any fucking squatter from throughout the world just come here, and kind of like to what Assad was saying. You do get, a lot of Chinese people who when the women are pregnant, they'll just come here. They know they're going to they'll overstay visas. They don't give a shit. They will pop their baby out here just so that their child has, which to give them credit, it's kind of smart. it's at least a smart way of taking advantage of our birthright citizenship. But it's a way of like investing in their child's future. It's something that should not be a fucking thing. Like birthright citizenship, I think is going to be. It's one of the things that could be the downfall of the United States. Like
it has to be modernized completely. You're totally right. If I'm not, Joe, you can correct me on this. As far as I know, also, this mostly came about because back, in the early days when we were just like a young country, we were having a bunch of, foreigners coming to visit us, like the politicians and like the people that, from other places like Ireland or whatever it might be. And they would lay their eggs all over the country just to make sure that they get a chance to be part of America. So, Joe, I don't know, am I on point with that? Because I think that's where this comes from too. Is really was just to prevent any kind of foreigners from other countries at the time that our country was just starting off. So it does need to. The point is, it does need to be modernized. We've got to do something different. This is not working. Maybe
specific rulings? No, I mean it all originally originates from the 14th Amendment, which is granted citizenship to
children of slaves.
Any free man at that time, or any person that was a slave prior to that had been freed by the Emancipation Proclamation. That then gave them all citizenship, and it's just been interpreted over the years.
Right.
Now there could be, some case or something related to what you're saying about it.
I'll find it. It's really interesting because I read about it. I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. What those folks were doing, obviously, was fleeing prosecution themselves, obviously at that time. You know what I mean? And then like our guys, the American people that were here, were like, dude, you got to go back home. Like, just because you're some kind of, advisor to, whatever country you're coming from, or you are actually one of the, head people actually at that time, doesn't mean you can just stay here and just like anchor babies all over the place, I'll actually find it because it was part of this. I'm pretty sure I'll find it. It's really interesting, actually.
Yeah. Go ahead, Christian. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, but in the 1860s, we didn't have H1, H2, J visas, F visas, OPT, STEM visas, temporary protection status, DACA, deferred action. We didn't have any of that.
That's where this came in. This is what was the replacement for that in that way. Whether, actually was making a decision on that behalf already, but yeah, we didn't have all that stuff, and it'd be interesting to know, when did that actually initiate? Do you know, Christian, at all? What year did we actually implement HB1s and all these other various things?
It was basically in that 1965 version of the INA, and then it just continued to be expanded. We had another version in 1990. There's been a few versions of the INA that have expanded immigration and then the quotas for these visa types.
Basically starting in 1960, you would say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So, so they thought they had to get this all organized to get everybody basically tracked and know what's everybody doing in our country, what are their plans, You can't just have a free-for-all that was going on prior to 1960.
Can I ask a question? This is
hey, Steph, go ahead, yeah.
Thank you. Peace and blessings to the room. I just had a question for Christian, or I guess anyone who can answer. Would it be so problematic that if the parents are not citizens, then the child is not a citizen?
Well, that is the law currently, because like if you have what they call an anchor baby, you have illegal immigrants. Once they have a child that's born in the United States, that child is an immigrant. Is a citizen. And so that's basically the basis of the whole discussion. Like, if you were to have two illegal people that have a baby on this on our land, should that baby be considered American? Like, I don't think so.
We already have under 8 USC 1401. The United States Congress has already created criteria for who is allowed to be considered a citizen. That is actually federal immigration law. This is actually cited by Trump in his executive order. So the only difference is that because Congress has granted the President of the United States deference and discretion on alien entry, on the revocation of visa petitions, on expedited removals. The Congress has already given the President discretion and deference to do the policy that he wants as far as entry into the United States goes, and who's granted citizenship and a whole host of things. So all this back and forth that we're seeing between the judge shopping, the DC circuit, and now you got New Hampshire, and the ninth we saw with the Ninth Circuit in his first term. The only reason we're seeing this back and forth is because they're just trying to stall Trump's policies from being implemented. That's the only reason that these cases are even being open at all.
Well, I was detained in El Salvador for 6 weeks.
Shut up! This is a troll. Shut up, Point.
Now, why are you being rude?
Shut up, Point. Go back to the waiting room, bitch. Shut up.
Okay, I just had a follow-up question. And that, what I was referring to was...
These must be fat, ugly bitches.
Shut up, Point.
Goodness gracious.
Go ahead.
What I was referring to was, like, people that come here on, like you said, a work visa, student visa, etc. So they're not here illegal. They're here on a visa, but they're not citizens. So does that apply to them as well?
It applies to them, and in a lot of cases, or I mean, really up until Trump, they have been, let's just say, non-citizens have been able to game the system and go around what Congress intended, and so that is why we've reached this point now where finally Trump wrote the executive order or action or proclamation saying, no, I am not going to allow USCIS or any of my federal agencies to issue out citizenship for you.
And I love it, man. Because the way my mind processes it, it's like smuggling the citizenship. That's how I process it. You know, I know that's not the proper term for it, but that's exactly how my brain looks at it.
MC, can I just
go ahead, yeah.
Hey man, shout out to the deportations going on. I fuck with the deportations, man. Get these motherfuckers out of here, bro. I fuck with it.
I got it. So hold on a second. Ahmadon, did you want to say something?
Yeah. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are. Just want to add something relates to this visa process that Christian was actually talking about, different types of visa. You know, my concern is that there haven't been any proper kind of vetting system for these people coming to our country. No matter if it's a HP, ED, whatever types of visa is out there. So I don't think that under any administration, I mean, I don't know, there have been any proper vetting before giving a piece of visa to somebody to come to our country. Like, I don't know if any embassy around the world have actually conducted such a kind of vetting for people that even they want to come to a country legally. What I mean by that is, like, somebody apply for the visa and nobody conducts some sort of background check for that person that's coming from that country. He could be a student, he could be whatever they want to do, but guess what? That person could be like, let's say, completely criminal person in their country, but they will get a visa and come to the United States. But what I like about the new administration that, we don't want America to turn to be like an European countries. Look, what is going on in Germany? What's going on in France? What's going on back? Some kind of process or some kind of thing had to happen in our country in order to get these people out of this country. This is not Europe. This is the United States of America. I'm proudly Afghan American, and I live here for a long period of time. None of us, no one wants these guys to be around our families, regardless of politics, regardless of who's who here. But we all want to have a peaceful environment, peaceful neighborhood, people who live around us, and you don't want these people to be around our families, kids, wives, husbands, and all those people. We just want to live in peace. I repeat myself. We don't want United States to turn to be like other countries like Germany, France. Look at the crazy things that are happening out there. So thanks, President Trump, and we proud, regardless of all these things, this kind of deportation had to happen. Look at the ICE website. These guys that have been captured and have been deported, think about who these guys were. Eventually, they could have been very, very dangerous for our country, for our communities, and for our people. So I really support this. And I know people have different reactions. People will not like this, but believe me, this is everybody will eventually understand who these guys were and what they were actually doing here. So I know it's gonna be really hard. I know the videos will be disgusting, but we have to do some cleanup here in our country. We definitely respect people to come legally to our country. We do respect people to come through the legal process. The legal process is out there. Nobody has banned that. It's out there, but we don't want illegal immigrant to be in our country. Thank you.
Hey, Christian.
Okay, so
Hold on for a second. Christian.
Yeah.
You said something about immigrants or illegals coming over here, gaming the system. I know what you mean by that. A lot of people in this room may not know what you mean by that. But could you explain what you mean by how they're gaming the system and who is helping them? Because I know how they're being helped, and I know who's helping them. But a lot of people in here may not know. Can you explain how they're gaming the system, sir?
Well, I mean, it's anybody who wants to hear what I was referring to, just go back to the Trump v. Casa Supreme Court oral argument, where the lawyers who were trying to stop Trump's executive order were just, they were getting very descriptive. They were basically saying, that explicitly that federal benefits would be lost. They were also saying that, if people were not allowed to do this, then, they really virtually would have no way of getting access into federal programs in the United States. So, I mean, I think that's pretty much all the evidence, that we need right there, because they're saying it in open U.S. Supreme Court.
Christian. Also, how they're gaming the system, they have activist judges in the courts that are dismissing their hearings, in turn giving them de facto citizenship. B, they're having NGOs, help them navigate the system, especially the legal system. One being, remember the Judge Boasberg, the guy who started trying to issue the injunctions on Donald Trump? Well, come to find out, his daughter receives federal money, and she is operating a nonprofit organization that provides legal assistance to illegals by way of federal dollars. And he is a federal court, he is a federal judge. That right there is a direct conflict of interest, which I think should have been enough to get him recused off the fucking bench, right? This is how they're being helped by the NGOs. A lot of these NGOs got exposed during the whole USAID debacle, right? When they went into USAID and found out where this money was going, who was getting the money, and what it was for, a lot of those NGOs was using that money to help illegals game the system. Anyone stop me if I'm lying?
You got it, Adrian. You're good. Yeah, no, you're on point.
If you would ask anybody to push back, if that's what you're really...
Yeah, Daniel,
I'd love to discuss that. But
Daniel, yeah, I got you. Everybody calm down. Jeez. Okay, Nomi and then Daniel, because we'll get some pushback here. Go for it.
Okay, so I disagree with the the deportation. Sorry, I just had a moment. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree. I disagree. I disagree with it because there's a lot of mistakes happening with the deportation. There are people with papers that are being deported. So I know you guys disagree with me because I look what the room is. I'm reading the room. I know how you guys are. But yeah, I think.
Then you don't have to say nothing if you don't want to.
Well, I just want to say that I disagree with that, and there's people being separated from their families, and they have paperwork proving that they should be in the United States.
Can you name one?
Being taken away.
To find paperwork? Can you name one person that's happened to?
You can
Just one.
do it. It's like happened to multiple people.
And define
paperwork. Yeah, okay. Hold on, Abby. Hold on. She made an assertion. Name one. What is there?
I don't remember. But I
you don't have one person. You said that it's happened to many. I'm asking you to give one example. One person.
Yeah, I don't know.
And define documentation. Define it specifically.
The documentation is like piece of paper or document.
I got a piece of paper.
Proves that you should be in the United States.
Well, what's a paper? What is it called? What is it that you have?
Citizenship or whatever.
It's
permit.
Citizenship, or is that specifically what you're saying?
Like
a birth certificate?
Like permanent resident. I know there's multiple that shows that they're supposed to be in the United States. So
well, what is it specifically?
I just said it.
Well, what did you say specifically?
Citizenship.
And how would you document citizenship?
Paper.
Y'all see how easy it is to crumble their arguments once you push that knife just a little
European doesn't matter if you say
especially with the separating the families. Take them with you. They don't have to be separated. Take them with you. How about that?
So you guys think that the deportations are correct and they're not making any mistakes?
Hey, look, we're not gonna. Here's the thing, and we're not gonna center you, so we're gonna move on to the next speaker. All right.
What? Hello? You guys see me? Because I'm a liberal. Oh my God, I'm being treated.
No, you're good.
You're different liberal.
All right.
Oh, you're black. Oh, you're black. European doesn't matter here either. Not in the black room.
Aw, poor baby.
A liberal being racist? What the fuck?
Aw, liberal man racist. It's
crazy.
It's
that is.
I think we discriminate against people that are dumb based
or stupid.
Look,
if stupid was a race.
Y'all, every single liberal have the exact same character trait. Every single one of them. They always think that they are the smartest person in the room. All of them. All of them. I don't know where they get this false sense of elitism from. Like, they look down their noses on the plebes, but they all share that same character trait, y'all. it's remarkable to see that play out in real time.
Hey, Iman, can I give you some advice, just generally in life? When you're talking about something, don't just say papers. It just sounds like illiterate. Be specific whenever you're talking about something, what your document is. When you say the word papers, it just sounds like you're clueless. It just generally in life when you're describing something. If you get sued and you call someone and you got sued, don't say I got papers.
No,
say
I
got a summons.
you don't say that.
Okay, you
But
got that? I'm just giving you some advice.
Does documentation sound better to you?
Specifically.
It sounds like it's from the hood. Oh my god, I'm such a fucking black person. So
I don't know what color you are. You could be purple. I'm just telling you, don't use the term papers. It sounds stupid.
Real stupid.
Excuse me, Javier, can I ask you a very fundamental question, if you don't mind, since so something we call is due process. As far as these criminals that have been deported and are in the process of deporting from our country, do we legally do they have to go through this due process, even if they're, let's say, green card holders or whatever type of visa they have, do they have to go through the due process?
Hamda, that's a very good question. I don't know how to say your name.
Hamda.
Okay, that is a very good question you just raised. I would like to know the answer to that, because when we're talking about due process and getting these people out, how the fuck, like, why the hell do we have to go through due process to get them out when they didn't go through due process to come into the country? Can anyone explain that?
Everyone's afforded due process. You have to define. They have the right to go through our legal system. They have a right to counsel. They have a right to notice. But with respect to people that are illegal, they're illegally, they're subject to our laws, and our laws are pretty clear on our right to deport, as well as if someone is a security risk to the country, which can be determined, and there's federal law, in fact, that supports that our Secretary of State can make that determination. They do have a right, as anyone that's here, to go through a court process and utilize our court system.
Hey, Abby,
no one's taking that away.
You're so correct, Abby, because I raise this question a lot, this issue a lot, when liberals bring up this due process argument, right? Now, just imagine, hypothetically, had they won the election, would they be screaming about due process now? No, they wouldn't, right? They're only screaming about due process because their grand plan backfired. It didn't play out the way they thought it was going to play out, right? They didn't win the election. So now this is their de facto argument that they're talking about as due process, when they didn't give a flying fuck about due process when they were just ushering their asses into this goddamn country. They weren't thinking about due process when Joe Biden on the main stage said, rush the border. No, surge the border. That's what he said. Surge the border, y'all. When he got rid of Remain in Mexico clan, they weren't thinking about goddamn due process then. Due process, it was the furthest thing on their fucking mind. But now all of a sudden their ass is lost, they're salty, they're licking their wounds. This is the only thing that they can muster up as an argument. It's because their grand plan did not work out.
But Adrian,
So now,
they are having a due process. They actually are. Every single one of them, they are. Even though they really shouldn't and they don't deserve it, they do. We talked to a judge and he explained to us how they all are having due process. The only thing that people are confused is every single arrest, there is a warrant for it. The only place they don't need arrest is when they go to workplaces. That's why you see them going in workplaces and just arresting everyone. At the workplace, they can go, and they're not even arresting, it's called detaining. At workplace, federal agents can go in there and ask for paperwork, and then they can detain people until they show paperwork, or they put them through the due process. With every single illegal, right now is going through the due process. What the media is saying is absolutely lie.
The other thing too is, hey Adrian, let me jump in.
Oh, go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, and Abby, you would know better on this, but it seems to me I heard it explained there are different forms of due process as well. And what the left is promoting, this whole idea that, well, you have to go and then you've got to go through in front of a court and there needs to be a jury and all these, Perry Mason type trial. And that is actually, I remember it needs to be if I remember it correctly, it needs to be a legal process as set by the Department of Homeland Security or it's something along those lines, to where the Democrats are saying, oh, everybody, all the 11 million or 20 million or whatever it is, they all need a court trial. And that is actually not the case, as I understand it.
I put it in the chat, Alan. There's an exception if they're apprehended near the border. They can be removed in an expedited way, and they don't have to remain within the system on the 2-year period.
And Abby, didn't Tom Homan say, hey, we're going after criminal illegals, right? If we raid a home, right, and your ass just happened to be there while we're raiding, or you're in the vicinity of someone that we're raiding and arresting, if you happen to be illegal, you will be arrested too. Did he not say that?
Yeah, he did. And it also reminds you that even there's due process and right to counsel and right to notice, even with the people sitting in Guantanamo that, we're holding for 9/11, they still have due process. They still have right to counsel. They still have notice. They still have a trial. None of that goes away. But we were just talking about this before, and I sound redundant, but it's an administrative law proceeding when you go through deportation. It's not in our judicial system. It's in the executive agency, the executive branch. It's administrative law. Poor Pepe's heard me say it how many times? But you're still having a proceeding. You still have the right to counsel, and right to a fair trial and notice, and to present a defense. None of that goes away.
Yeah, it'd be likened to if you reach over your allowed driving points because you got too many speeding tickets, and then your license gets revoked, and then you go through an administrative hearing and they pull your license. You don't go in front of a court for that. So the entire narrative about there not being afforded due process is just gaslighting and lying to Americans.
I want to say something else. I voted for Trump in 2020, believe it or not. But what he's doing now is he's getting out of hand. It's like he's almost taking it by himself.
I can't deal with this.
I can see.
Like, nobody cares, Naomi. No one cares what you did.
Naomi, what was the reason why you voted for him? What was the policy that you voted for Donald Trump?
She said 2020, not 2024. We don't care about what she did in 2020.
Well, I do. I do. I really want to hear this. Yeah, in 2020, why did you vote for him?
Because Biden, I saw a thing, but Biden in the past, he said the N-word, the hard R, and he tried to fight so hard for my community, and it was weird to me. I just felt weird about it. So yeah, that was one of the reasons.
You voted for Trump because Biden said the N-word?
He said the N-word with the hard R. Back in the, was it 80s?
But you weren't alive then.
I seen that. Oh my goodness! I didn't see it myself. I seen it like online. I wasn't there.
Yeah, but he said a word at a time when you weren't even alive, and that made you vote for Donald Trump?
Did you vote for Trump? Why are you questioning me?
I'm just curious.
Yeah, I said that was one of the reasons. There's other reasons why I did too. You know what? I'm tired of this fucking black.
So what is Trump doing now?
Can you not just have a reasonable conversation with someone without melting down? What the fuck?
What is he doing?
She can't. No, I'm just tired of these black men always questioning me, trying to make me look stupid.
You know me, hold on.
I just asked you a question, baby girl. What the fuck?
But you are.
Shut your black ass up.
Hey. All right.
Racist mutt.
All right, conservative, calm down. Okay, Lo, you came out.
Yeah, I was just wondering, what is she doing now that she said that is different from when she voted for him in 2020? Because if it's deportations, that's been the thing before him. I mean, Obama has the most deportation under his record. If it's DEI, then I understand Democrats probably told you to be upset about that. But I just don't see what has changed your mind so much. You said that Biden said the N-word, but he's said and done so much worse during his presidency these last 4 years. So I really don't understand where the hate is coming from.
Thank you.
I just want to make a quick comment here that during Obama's administration, the deportation, but we have to bear in mind that most of these criminals that have actually entered our countries were during the Biden's administration, and these were the most dangerous ones that have been here, and so that I just want to make that comment over here.
Well, we know that's false. That's false because just today they caught a MS-13 gang member in Nebraska who's wanted for over 5 murders. He's wanted in El Salvador, and he was allowed to come to America in 2016. So I really don't understand what that aspect, because they're still catching people on the terrorist watch list to this day. So it doesn't matter, regardless if you're not supposed to.
Yeah, but they were probably captured during President Trump's administration, and they're gone.
Well, we can't say everyone was captured if they're still capturing people to this day.
Well, and then the other thing, the other reason that I have a problem with this, I can't stand the talking point about Obama being the deporter-in-chief. The fact is, under Barack Obama, they started the Central American Minors Program, which was the program that encouraged people from Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador to come to the United States for the purpose of getting DACA or deferred action or temporary protection status. So all this talk about Obama deporting people is bullcrap. They allow millions of people in through the DACA and through the deferred action and the temporary protection status.
Okay, let me chime in, because now we're talking about Obama, and I was clearly bringing up the fact that deportation has been nothing new, regardless who is president.
Well, no. But the reason I brought it up is that it is incorrect to say that Obama was the deporter-in-chief or he had the most deportations under any president, because the fact is he opened the border for people to come to the United States illegally and stay here illegally and get college tuition illegally and get a college degree illegally and stay in housing illegally. Many of these people are getting FHA loans. So, I mean, this whole notion that Obama was the guy that deported the most people is bullcrap.
Again, Obama has deported plenty of people, just as Trump is doing right now, and any president who's going to enforce federal law. So I don't really want to get, because I'm not a fan of Obama, so I don't know if you are. Maybe that's why.
No. I'm bringing it up because you said it. I'm bringing it up because you said it. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, I know, but you're bringing it up as if he was the only thing that I mentioned. The point was that deportation has been happening long before Trump, and it probably will continue to happen.
Well, no. The reality is Trump has been the toughest president in history on immigration. And in fact, I would even go so far as to say that Donald Trump has been the toughest politician across the board, across all 50 states, federal, state, city, county, every jurisdiction, Trump is the toughest politician that we've ever seen on immigration.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, especially considering people were just worried about sleeper cells waking up the other day. So, I mean, honestly, I'm okay with that.
And also, we have to bear in mind that the situation has changed around the world. And I'm sure there have been a risk analysis conducted to go that as much as tough for this extensively. Because back in the days, look at the world, what's going on, right? Look at it's not the, let's say, the world that has been there like in 2020. This is 2025, so things have drastically changed. If you think about everything, and then like mostly the risk analysis, I don't think when it comes to our national safety and security, any risk analysis have been conducted during President Obama's time. But I'm sure there have been any risk analysis conducted, by going this full force of deportation.
So I just want to say, this is probably my last thing I want to say. I would, if Trump wasn't doing these other things that I disagree with, I would support Trump. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I supported him in 2020. I didn't support him in 2024, but I think if he wasn't doing like these, I understand that people come here illegally. I know Biden, he was sending money to, Ukraine? Was it Ukraine? Yeah, he was sending like billions of dollars to Ukraine. He was doing a lot of anti-American shit. I know he was. I don't like that. But yeah, that's all.
Cool. I want to talk about the deporter-in-chief as it's being claimed. So when you look at the amount of deportations versus the amount of illegals that came in, it breaks about even. We never decreased in illegals, but partly due to Obama was the one ushering in the DACA and starting to give legal status to some of these illegals here. So it's kind of misguided to, on one hand, he deported 5 million people, however, he let 5 million people into the country as well. And I think that's where the frustration comes from when Christian, with the deporter-in-chief narrative, is you're just looking at one side of the figures rather than, well, how many also came in during his term?
Yeah, and it really gets under my skin because every time I listen to that talking point on national television, on radio, on talk shows, on podcasts, I'm just sitting back and going, you all have just totally skipped over the fact that Obama opened up the border.
I'll give another example. When people talk about Bill Clinton and how well he did in balancing the budget, it's like, if anyone, which many of y'all weren't even paying attention in the 90s, but he was not this balancing the budget, this fiscal conservative president. He was submitting bills to be, to be paid for. However, Newt Gingrich and the Republicans were pushing back on it and not allowing many of Bill Clinton's agenda that would have spent a bunch of money and put a big deficit onto the spending package. So y'all have to be careful that the past gets reframed years later in politics.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying there, Joe. I'm going to pass the mic around just a little bit. Sandy, you're new to the stage. Do you have something to contribute, or do you have some thoughts on the topic, or no? And if not, Nick, or you can go. I saw you come off the mic. I don't know. But Sandy, yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and wait and see where the conversation is going. But go ahead.
Necro.
And hello everyone.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
Necro, do you want to go?
Can you hear me?
Yep, you're on.
Okay. Yeah, I just heard the statement about
Bill Clinton. I mean, in many ways, it's like, to me, like, you know, it's kind of difficult to dispute the idea that he was conservative. I know he has the record of being a, you know, a liberal hero of the left, but it's like, you know, if anything, I mean, he self-identified with, you know, as a centrist, but, you know, when he was in Arkansas, he mostly governed as conservative. It's one of the ways that he won the South, mainly. But in general, though, it's like, I mean, that's why I've argued that Bill Clinton, if anything, like, if president who I wouldn't be surprised to see on a new dollar, I would say that, you know, a new currency that we may would be Bill Clinton or maybe Reagan, but, you know, Bill Clinton would definitely be up there.
So, Nick, let me ask you, when they proposed Hillary Care, which was essentially a precursor to Obamacare or government, more government control over healthcare, was that a conservative idea?
Sorry. Yeah, my connection was bad. Can you hear me now?
We can now. I didn't hear anything to your answer, though. Are you familiar with Hillary Care? Are you familiar that it didn't go forward because of Newt Gingrich? But are you familiar with Hillary Care?
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with that. You know, Clinton was you know, that healthcare was one of his plans that he put forward. You know, it's interesting though. The ACA is originally a you know, its origins is I think it was like is originally right wing. I think it was actually the Heritage Foundation was the one that proposed it originally. But yeah, I mean, it was proposed as the alternative to the plan that was passed forward as to universal health care.
Speaking of the ACA is really what cost the country $1 trillion a year. So since John McCain's thumbs down at 3 o'clock in the morning, back when the Republicans were trying to repeal the ACA entirely, when John McCain gave that thumbs down, saving the Democrats, from that point on, it has costed us $1 trillion every single year. At which, case in point, the most expensive part of the federal budget is Medicaid and Medicare.
I mean, in general, though, it's like, to me, it's like, to make like the argument that people make about, like, you know, abortion, though, it's like, to me, it's like, who cares ultimately?
But please make the distinction. It's really important, and Christian, I wanted to say this. The fact that Medicaid is called Meta, it has nothing to do with Medicare. They're completely different. There is no discussion of any kind to touch or do anything to Medicare. And it gets people riled up because they get confused between the two. But it's incredibly important to distinguish. They're two completely different programs. And the emphasis has been on cleaning up Medicaid, which has nothing to do with a program for when you're 65 and up.
Like, I mean, as far as like Medicare, like, there's no discussion. I mean,
there's no discussion.
Well, nothing. I mean, it depends on what you mean by that. I mean, I understand that, like, it's not
up for being reformed, or I mean, there's nothing. There's not a controversy around it. So don't confuse the two just to get people worried, because they're completely different.
Well,
Medicaid should never have been called Meta. Should have had another name.
So if I could explain, so like in 2022, I would argue that was the reason, like, why there was not this massive red wave, because it talks about, you know, cutting Social Security to to as a way to not raise the debt ceiling.
It wasn't the overturning of Roe versus Wade like every news outlet reported.
That's as a person who's pro-choice. I believe that it wasn't.
Really?
You know,
Why did every television commercial around for every person running for office was about abortion? Just curious. Ask any Dem, they'll tell you that's what they ran on.
I mean, I understand that a lot of people in the media, the fact was, if you looked at the polls back then, after the overturning Roe versus Wade, roughly only 12% of independent voters were concerned about abortion, while 40% were concerned about the economy and 20% were concerned about threats to democracy. So, I mean, I understand people in the media, like the media tries to, focus on the things that really don't matter to everyone, but it's like the polls themselves speak for, how people really feel. And I think really it's, in general though, a better explanation to me for why there wasn't the massive red wave was because of talks about cutting Social Security as a way to not raise the debt ceiling, or like, for example, when they were telling people as a solution to the rising cost of insulin to, just eat right.
I have a question for the room. Why are Democrats so ignorant and dumb?
They were born that way. I've heard that in liberal rooms about conservatives too. Like,
Thanks for your opinion, Daniel.
No, the perfect person just came on stage to answer that.
That was not.
Welcome, King.
Answer what?
How is that like he just totally teed you right?
Naveen, answer me this. Riddle me this. Why are Democrats so naive and dumb?
I think it's the water.
Is it the brain-eating amoebas in the water?
In the water in the blue states.
One thing I will concede at this point is that the fact that, essentially that the Democrats, their main strategy is simply to say that at least we're not Donald Trump, simply. So I would concede that, yeah, the Democrats seem to not have much platform other than that. So,
what are you saying? They're not Trump? They didn't go to an Ivy League university and get a degree from Wharton? They're acknowledging that they're not that smart?
Yeah, I think a lot of Democrats are not smart. I think most politicians aren't smart. But I mean, in general, I would say that the Democrats, my point is essentially the Democrats, their main talking strategy is to say to people that at least we're not Donald Trump is their main strategy.
But are we talking just about the politicians, or are we talking about people when you answer that question?
Yeah, I'm talking about politicians. When I say Democrats, I'm usually talking about the politicians, not the voters.
But I don't think that's the question he was asking.
Well, let's ask that, though. Are the voters dumber than the Democrat politicians?
Absolutely.
No. So, Joe, the Democrats don't use their brain, okay? They operate off of a fluid, which is emotion. And so, like if I say to you, Joe, I want to show you a story here. See this mother who is dying on the side of the road? That's because of Donald Trump's policies. And then if a Republican goes, she's an illegal immigrant who just fell on the ground and is injured. Doesn't matter. The fact is, Donald Trump caused that. And so you feel this emotion, and so they play off that. And so Democrats have now been trained to think with their emotions and not with their brain. And that is the fundamental problem.
I want to say something.
Bless your heart.
What you got there?
Yeah, I see someone comment, you guys do know that they're conservatives against Trump right now. You're not blind to that, are you? This is what I know, though. Conservatives who don't like Trump, they didn't like him in November either. So I don't believe we have many people who voted for him who are mad or against him, Daniel. I don't know anyone actually. I'm sure there are going to be some people, like statistically, it's just wrong to say there's absolutely no one, but I don't know anyone. I know people who say,
I would agree.
let me finish, please. Let
Sorry,
me
I was
finish.
interrupting.
I know people who say, oh, like, I'm a little bit disappointed for this policy or that policy, but I don't know a single person who voted for him and want their vote back. So.
Yeah, my point is not who would hold on. My point is not who would change their mind or anything. I'm just saying there are some conservatives on certain kinds of quoted conservative principles. Speaking for what Abby mentioned, for example, which some people in the room don't feel is right. If people came in illegally, why are they getting legal status of due process at all? I heard somebody say that's a very fair question. And as Abby said, these rights, most of them, not all, do extend to people, not just citizens. And, this is kind of what America is unless it's changed, and you could, of course, change it. But it isn't just what happens on voting day for a mandate. That's why there are basic rights.
But I said it earlier, if you want another day, we can talk about this. I can make sure you're there so we can literally open up this due process. MC was there. We talked to a federal judge. I asked him a bunch of questions. He explained every single one of them. Every single illegal that's getting deported or it's getting detained, they are having due process.
Yeah, if that's happening, everything's fine. But I'm just simply saying that there are.
And I'm simply saying that's a lie, propaganda,
I'm just saying.
and people keep repeating it. But every single illegal is having a due process.
Yeah, I'm only making.
I'm going to answer you, Daniel, on your point. There's a group called the Lincoln Project. Do you know who they are? Yeah, Daniel, I'm going to help you with this. I'm going to help you. There's a group called the Lincoln Project that were Republicans that were against Trump. Do you know who they are? They made a lot of news.
I do.
Have you ever heard of the Lincoln Project?
Very cool.
Anyway, they came out.
Really a Republican, though.
They're not really Republicans. That's the point.
Some of them are regular Republicans.
Well, yeah, I mean, so when you listen to them, and they all presented that they were Republicans, but when you listen to them on where they come down on policies, not just on his personality, they don't sound like Republicans anymore.
No,
their
position call themselves conservatives. Right?
Yeah, but Abby.
Hold on, Abby. They do call themselves conservatives, correct?
No.
Yes, no, Abby.
I think they are.
Daniel to define that.
Naveen.
Hold on, Daniel.
There's a judge. There's a federal judge. Hold on. There's a federal judge who comes out very strongly on.
Daniel. Okay. Anyone can hold on. Daniel, anyone can freely register as a Republican.
Exactly.
Anyone can call themselves. Anyone can call themselves a conservative.
Joe, he's playing into the narrative. You guys are all doing it because they're registered as a Republican. Like, you guys, Daniel, you're.
Wait, one at a time.
Come on. I had not had like 2 sentences.
Let's let Daniel finish, guys.
Daniel finish and then Naveen take it.
So much. Appreciate it. There are people who call themselves conservatives who do not call themselves Republican, who once upon a time did call themselves Republican. Their case is that today's Republican Party is different than it was the Republican Party they were part of. But they still identify as conservative, just not a Trump version of a conservative. That's the only point.
So we replaced him with Julio and Jose.
Yeah, I just want to say two things. Number one, I identify as a millionaire. I guess that means I am. Number one, I just wanted to say also that, the problem is that these are all people. Okay, so did you know that Krispy Kreme also calls himself a conservative? Did you guys know that Mike Putz calls himself a conservative? Okay, did you know that, Mittens Obamney calls himself a conservative? Okay, so are these the people that we want to be the standard bearers? By the way, people don't understand. You guys, first of all, everyone is an idiot. If the country was led by Paul Ryan, we would have one of the worst countries in the world. Why? Because Paul Ryan doesn't know how to create solutions. If you believe that either conservative or progressive ideals are the right way, 100% all the way to the right, all the way spread the left ideals or the way to solve things in this country, then you're an idiot, because you have so many different kinds of people in this country. So it doesn't mean you have to be a moderate. That's different. It means you have to understand how to make your policies work. And Paul Ryan wasn't one of those people. Neither was Krispy Kreme. Neither was Nick Putz. Okay, neither was who was some of the other people. Neither was on her knees Haley or any of these other people. So I mean, up the ass Lindsey Graham. All these people are not that way. So right,
I just wanted to say, so to speak to Daniel's point about conservatives who are against Trump, one of the common criticisms from conservatives I've heard from Trump is the fact that he runs on populism, in that it goes against one of the principles of conservatives as being tellers of harsh truths or hard truths, which is something that, traditionally I would say is a conservative principle, is that, essentially that you can't rely on the government to fix everything. It's something that is traditionally a conservative value.
Yeah. Hold on, Necro. It's fascinating. All the conservatives that said that kept running for office all the time and kept talking about solutions that the government can do to solve your problems. Amazing. Like, nobody calls them out for those hypocrisies. I mean, Joe, you and I had conversations about this all the time. It's like, they say, we need to have term limits. We need to have this. We need to have that. And then they keep going, I'm running for re-election. Like, but I'm a conservative. I'm a principled conservative. Or Mike Putz, God, what is it? God, family, and then conservatism in that order. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, you try to use your conservatism or your designation of what you call yourself to give yourself clout, but in reality, maybe you don't actually follow everything you believe in, but then you want to call out others that may not do it. And that's what the Lincoln Party is. You have people that radically pull. I'll give you an example, and I think Joe will appreciate this. There was a lady that named Anna Navarro in 2016 that came on TV in CNN claiming to be a John McCain, Lindsey Graham strategist, okay? Republicans, and she was going, I'm a Republican strategist, blah, blah, blah. I'm a Republican strategist. And I'm thinking to myself, now I know why Lindsey Graham's a piece of shit, and same with John McCain, holy shit. So, but she was coming on it when she was anti-Trump. Suddenly her values changed all the way that she's supporting, communist type of policies.
AOC, yeah.
Yeah, she's supporting AOC. Even look at Bill Kristol. He's supporting Democrat values. So if you really believed in what you take Paul Ryan supporting Biden in office and so, well, I'm doing it for the future of conservatism. And then supporting Kamala Harris, like, you guys are fucking idiots. So if you really believe it, look at Liz. My dad was VP but could never be President Cheney, like, supporting. So I'm a conservative though. Like, fuck you, you're not. You were just using that to make money and move forward. I mean, it's clear.
Yeah, these career politicians just say whatever they want to be able to continue to make money. Chris Christie had a mega donor, the owner of the New York Mets, that doesn't like Donald Trump, that was funding his campaign. Well, he's an old politician. He doesn't really have anything else to do. So this is a paycheck for him. He gets to drive around in a Subaru or in a big old SUV and stuff, and gets his lunches per diem.
Joe.
I mean, it's a business.
Joe, you're wrong, and I just need to correct you. Steve Cohen, who's the owner of the Mets, was funding the events for Chris Christie, of which had free food, and by the time people showed up, there was no more food. And that is one of the reasons why he lost. So I just want to be clear on that, and I think we should, own up to that, number one. Number two, Krispy Kreme is pretty pissed at Trump because Trump called Iran and said, I'm going to drop Chris Christie from the B-2 bomber, but the problem is Chris couldn't fit in, so they ended up not doing it. So I just want to let you know that. Thanks.
Yeah, so these term from the stuff. Did Daniel leave? I wanted him to define conservatism. What does it mean? What does conservatism mean to you? We got a guy out here, conservative warrior. Can you define conservative?
Yeah, I can probably get a good
I asked conservative warrior, not necro.
It was Daniel looking.
Fair point. One second. Daniel was in here.
Yeah, no problem. I want to hear from conservative warrior. I like that name.
For me, I feel like it's for like standing up for what I believe in and not basically letting the government dictate what I believe in. That's what it stands for me.
Yeah. For me, as a person conservative, the idea of conservative believing in small government, and by that, government spending, not necessarily government authority.
So there's a wide variety of different types of niche conservatism. There's social conservatives that have an emphasis on traditional social values. There are religious conservatives, or there used to be. I don't really believe there is a religious right, or if there is, it's not very powerful like it was maybe 40 years ago, 50 years ago. But there's paleo-conservatives, which are an emphasis on traditionalism, traditional marriage, things like that. But it refers to preservation of our values, preservation of the Constitution, and when a Democrat or a liberal says, well, I'm a progressive, I've heard even John McCain's daughter call herself a progressive Republican. Okay, what they really mean is they want to progress us away from the Constitution. They want to progress us away from the traditional family values.